So how do you take West Indies as an opponent, and how is the mentality of the team after the humiliating defeat against Italy?
Yeah, we were very disappointed with our effort against Italy. You know, it's one thing to pull out a performance like we did against England, and then to turn up and play completely a different game against the Italian team. You know, we went away from our game plan for whatever reason. Complacency, maybe thought we were going to cruise through it, but you know, it proved that the Italians, they're very they've got some hard-nosed cricketers in their group, and they didn't allow us to play our game. So that's on us. We didn't perform well, but you know, we've had a good chat, and we're about to have another talk now to understand that sort of performance is not good enough, and we need to be a lot better. And the West Indies, what they showed, you know, what they can do against the English side the other night, we know we're going to have to play really well to get into the contest and to win the game. We're going to have to make absolutely no mistakes and grab hold of every opportunity that comes our way.
Coach, the game against Italy, we did not turn up in any department and we got outplayed by Italy. Was it the case that we could not come out of that mental block after going so close and not crossing the finish line against England?
I don't think it's a case of coming out of a mental block. I think we celebrated, and you know, the country in Nepal celebrated a loss against England. It was a fantastic effort, don't get me wrong, but you know, in the end, we still lost the game. And that's where we need to be better, more ruthless in our mindset, and prove, okay, we took one of the powerhouses of world cricket, you know, into the last over, last ball. We should have come out with a harder mindset and an even tougher mindset against the Italians to put them under pressure, and we just didn't do that.
The match against Italy was a match what we expected we'd win. The match against England we went close to, but how do you think the team will approach the next two games that now that Super 8 contention is pretty much not in our hands?
Yeah, it's not, but it is. You know, we have to go out there thinking that we can win these games and win them well. If we don't do that, we may as well pack our bags now and head home. So, you know, we started the tournament by saying we weren't coming here just to be participants. We wanted to come here and cause a few upsets, ruffle a few feathers. We did that in our first game, and you know, we got our backsides kicked in the second game. So we need to actually turn up tomorrow and put in a good effort. I'm not focusing on the result tomorrow. I'm just going to more focus on the effort, and it's not so much the effort on the ground as well as the effort off the ground. So the 1%ers, we need to do better off field. And if we can do those 1%ers better, then the on-field stuff should take care of itself.
In both the games, in batting side, there were some questions about game awareness from the finishes that we expected. Do you think the batters succumbed under pressure because we have not played the competitive matches? We played practice matches, but not of this pressure situation. Do you think they succumbed under pressure in that end moments?
I thought we were pretty good under pressure against England. We've only played 2 games. You know, we didn't get over the line, yes, but you know, you look at that, everyone's looking at the batting, the finishing. In that game against England, we probably leaked, you know, 15 to 20 runs too many in the field. Had we done that, the chase would have been a lot easier, or would have been easier for us. Last game was just a terrible performance, and the boys are really, they weren't, well, they're not happy with it, and they're looking to make sure that they come out tomorrow and put on a better show.
Hi, Stuart, you spoke about the mentality and the mindset, and also that's a fact that the inexperience is also, yeah, like, you know, do you think that that's also a factor? Because in games like these where they need to close it on, but they lose at the last over on, or for that matter against Italy also, like where the seniors need to perhaps step in and take control, they somehow let it slip. Do you think that inexperience is something that also is hurting the side, or do you think that it was just they couldn't handle the pressure? Like, what do you talk to them about?
Look, I think when we talk about inexperience, maybe inexperience at World Cups at this level, yeah, definitely. And I think we need to understand too that I've been involved in World Cups before as a player and a coach. The pressure ramps up, and if you're not on your day, you're not on your game on that day, anyone can beat you, particularly in T20 cricket. Look, I think our senior players, our more experienced players, have had experience under pressure. Those who understand associate cricket, you go through qualifying procedures, tournaments, etc. They can be some of the most, volatile tournaments you go to with the pressure that's on you. You lose one game, you're out. And to get to a World Cup is pretty special. So, look, I think that can be an excuse that we used. I don't think we can have any excuses for what we did the other day against Italy. We all put our hand up and said it's just not good enough. The pressure under pressure against England, I thought we were very good. We didn't get the 4 runs, 5 runs that we needed. But I thought under pressure we performed really well to push England that far. And we spoke to the English guys afterwards. We known them and living in England. They came to us and they said, "Well, we were shocked. We didn't know what to do. You had us fried mentally," and that was really positive to hear. It's just unfortunate that we couldn't convert that 4 days later against Italy.
Coach, given the last 2 games, there have been very unexpected highs and then unexpected lows as well. From your perspective as a very senior person in that camp who has seen much more of how things pan out on the field, given the experience that Nepal have and the amount of cricket that they get to play with the top side nations, how tough does it become for you in particular or the experienced members in the camp from the coaching side as well as the players side in terms of translating that talk into on-field performances, given that Nepal was definitely not there where they were expected to be against Italy. I mean,
Yep.
The runs totally dried up, and the bowling also, there was definitely a big, if I can say, an error in kind of introducing Sandeep Lamichhane as late as in the 5th over when the game was already gone out of their hands. So how do you kind of strike it out?
It's a very good question. I think the way that we've got to look at it now is we've got to work out why the gulf from the England game to the Italy game happened. And I think with the Nepalese people in the room here, I think you understand that social media is a massive part of the Nepalese culture. To me, social media can be a huge distraction. And if we're focusing on what we're doing on social media, if we're focusing on what people are saying about us on social media and not focusing about what the team needs, your teammates are saying and the game requires, you're distracted from your actual job. It's a difficult one because I know a lot of the players, they rely on it to gain, endorsements and sponsorship, etc. But I think also that World Cups, cricket is the main thing. If I tried to explain to them that if we keep winning games of cricket, your likes will go up anyway. You don't have to keep showing your face. If you show that Cricket Nepal is going forward and we're winning games of cricket, your attraction on social media will go through the roof. So it's a difficult one for me because I'm a social media dinosaur. I don't understand it. I don't know the impact it can have online. I know the negative impact it can have, but I don't quite understand the positive impact. So I'm being educated on this as well, and trying to strike a happy medium with the players, is to make sure that they're focused on their cricket number one, and the rest of the nonsense that I call it. And I've said that to the boys today. Get that away from cricket. Do it away from cricket. When you're at cricket, do your cricket. So maybe that the distraction from the highs of nearly beating England, and the people from around the world of cricket, the greats of the game saying, "Oh, Nepal, what a my heart goes out to you," and all the rest of it. That's nice to hear, but we've still got to remember we lost. And to go from that high to then go to an extreme low the next 4 days later, that's not showing mental toughness. It's not showing commitment to your team, to your country, to your family, etc., to your teammates. So we need to make sure that we understand that we need to do that better, and how we address that from now on needs to come from good conversations, positive conversations, but also don't just say you can't do it. Pick and choose the times that you do it properly.
Coach, what about the captain Rohit? Is he okay?
He's all right. He just had there's been a bit of fever going around the World Cup, some stomach issues, etc. But Rowett's he had a fever last night. He took medicine. He should be fine for tomorrow.
So the next question is that apart from those two results, there has been talk that the gap between the associate and the test countries has been decreasing. But some may have other ideas. What Nepalese cricket actually must do to get to that level?
Yeah, look, it's how big's a ball of string, First and foremost, we need a proper domestic structure, which I know that, talking to the people involved in the cricket making decisions, constant conversations are going on about how we can create, a first-class structure that's why the Test nations are as good as they are. They have pathways from very young ages right through to, the senior national men's and women's team. To replicate that is going to take a lot, and unfortunately it takes a lot of money to make it happen. So we need to find a way how we can maybe take parts of a structure and implement it into our cricket, finding the time, finding the grounds to be able to do so. These things will take time, but when you say there's a big gulf, of course there is. There's always going to be a gulf between the Test nations and the associates, but it doesn't mean the associates aren't good players, and it doesn't mean that they can't beat the bigger teams as well. And I think we've proven that, over the last couple of months, last couple of World Cups. There's been upsets and whatever, and that's great for cricket. But doing it once is not enough. We've got to do it over and over again to really make noise with the right people to come in and help us. But the way that cricket in Nepal is building, the NPL is really helping us now. That'll help generate funds, but also help generate better players underneath this group. So we're a couple of years away from seeing the real benefits and the role that will play in our success in the future. And hopefully from the NPL we also can get a multi-day format started, because I think the longer formats is where you learn how to play the game. The shorter formats is where you have your fun. So we can get a multi-day format being played as well. It'll just make your bowlers harder. Your batsmen understand that batting time is important. When I first started playing T20 cricket, you didn't realise how long 120 balls is until you actually played the game, and you've got more time than you think. And sometimes the way we go out to bat, it looks like we've only got 3 balls to hit as many sixes as we can, and that's all we do. You've always got longer than you think. So the longer format will help teach our boys and the future players how to play the game properly.
The last 2 questions from Peter, Chiku, Gigi and
Stuart, how much of confidence you take from the 2-1 series win against West Indies in Sharjah last year? And secondly, your captain said the other day he prefers a single venue for the World Cup. It has its advantages. Are you okay with single venue, or explore the other venues, play in different conditions, this being the World Cup?
No disrespect to India, but I wish we were in Sri Lanka with the wicket turning the way it is. If there's a bit of turn on the wicket consistently for the whole game, I think we'd utilise our skill set a lot better. But having said that, to be here at the Wankhede every game, you can't beat it. It's a beautiful ground to play at in India. It's one of the most iconic venues in world cricket. And to be lucky to stay here, I think with the travel, etc., it takes that element out of it. You don't have to pack up, move on, and keep doing it. That can be tiresome. But also, it's nice to have a change of scenery. They say a change is as good as a holiday. It can freshen the mind, and a different challenge, a different way to play. So there are pros and cons. I'm happy that we're here in Mumbai and we haven't had to move. But there is positives if we had to go elsewhere to play on bigger grounds. We're playing at the Pramadasa, it's a bigger ground, and that suits us. We can use our speed between the wickets. We can use our spin bowlers more effectively. Here, 70 metres all the way around. If you don't get it right, you're in the top tier. So it makes it difficult. Our boys are loving it. They're loving the fact that we're playing here at the Wankhede. and hopefully, you know, we can finish strong in the next two games to make sure that we, you know, we leave our mark on this tournament.
Hi, Coach. An extension to your second last answer, you mentioned that, you know, it's not enough to do it once because you need to do it again and again. And sustained growth is imperative for Nepali cricket and for associate cricket in general. But there's also this talk about whether there's enough opportunities for sustained growth. Your coach, your captain was here a few days back, and he said that, you know, you guys nearly beat South Africa a few years ago, a couple of years down the line. But still, the only major test-playing nation you've placed against is West Indies. So the question to you is, what needs to be done in such a scenario to ensure that the growth is sustained and a performance like against Nepal or against South Africa is not a flash in the pan from Nepal and then we don't hear about them for the next 2 years?
Yeah, it's a difficult question to answer because the Future Tours program is jam-packed for every full member nation. The ones that probably aren't as packed as, you know, the big ones, teams like Afghanistan, teams like Ireland, West Indies don't play a lot of Test cricket, but they play a lot of white ball cricket. So look, I understand that there's difficulties in trying to arrange, and you know, it's us being, you know, willing to understand that that's the case, and even if we're playing against, you know, an A team from a full member nation, is going to be great experience for us. We went to Darwin last August to play in a top-end T20 competition, very well run by Northern Territory Cricket Organisation. And we learned a lot there. We were playing against academy players and some high-quality Big Bash players. And we learned a lot in that. We didn't win many games, but we learnt and we got better. So even in that environment, we grew as a team. So maybe the A teams are a way forward to play the A teams, you know, first and foremost, and still it'd give us good exposure. We can't dream we can only dream of India turning up to Kathmandu to play us in, you know, a 4-5 match T20 series or ODI series. That would be a dream. At the moment, the reality is not quite matching that expectation, but you know, we've got to still keep putting together good performances so that it does attract other teams to come in.
Coach, Nepal has previously played 2 matches in the center wicket. Looks there is different wicket for the tomorrow match. When you arrive in the ground and you went straight to the pitch, how did you find the pitch for the tomorrow?
The pitches here are always very similar. You know, they start in the daytime. They start a little bit of moisture in the surface, and they dry out as the game goes on. So, you know, nothing will change for tomorrow's game. It's a new pitch for this tournament, but it has been played on before in the Ranji Trophy. So it is a used pitch again. But we can't blame the pitch. You know, if you're blaming the pitch, you're barking up the wrong tree about your performance. So, you know, we're preparing to understand that it's going to be, you know, what it is at the start of the game, and it's going to be different at the back end. So we know that it's been the same since we've arrived here. So we just got to make sure that what we do first, we do really well, and we can put pressure on the opposition.
From me, a couple of questions. Firstly, being a former West Indies coach, sort of delighted with the way they're playing these days in this tournament. They've won a couple of matches, beat England here. And secondly, yesterday's upset of Australia, by Zimbabwe, does that sort of, it made you sad because you're an Aussie, but also somewhere it provides inspiration to the Nepal team that they can also pull off an upset?
Yeah. First question, my time with the West Indies was 2 of the, you know, best years of my life. I really enjoyed working with their players, working with the West Indies Cricket Board as well. And the way they play, particularly T20 cricket, is different to other teams. They've got power, and instead of, you know, running 1s and 2s, they just think, we won't do that, we'll just hit a 6 at the back end of the over. And more often than not, they do it. So no, it was a great time. I really enjoyed working with the players. It was great seeing them the other night at training. It'll be good seeing them tomorrow as well, but hopefully that, you know, we can get the better of them. And yesterday's result was, you know, Zimbabwe aren't. They're a very, very good side. They've got a lot of bases covered. They've been playing a lot of cricket since they've come back into, you know, world cricket. They've got a lot of experience. They've got a lot of knowledge in their side. And you know, the Australians, they might have got it wrong at the toss by winning the toss and bowling first, but you can't blame the toss either and the decision. Zimbabwe just played a better game of cricket on the day, and you know, that's what we can do as well. We've upset the West Indies back in Sharjah. Last World Cup nearly beat South Africa, lost by 1 run. So there's opportunities. Nearly beat England, you know, only lost by 4. So that inspiration, yeah, maybe we gave Zimbabwe inspiration to go out and beat Australia after our game against England. So look, it's great. It's great for cricket. I love it when an underdog comes out on top. I like the underdog tag. You've got a free shot. You get nothing to lose and everything to gain. So hats off to Zimbabwe for their